My fellow Americans, I'm pleased to tell you today that I've signed legislation that will outlaw Russia forever. We begin bombing in 5 minutes.
It is essential that our team learns to work with our new recruit, not against him.
I'm a geek, walking down the street.
Check the computer.
The mainframe computer. I access the mainframe.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall. Time to find out.
Welcome to Basically a Geek Show. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jack.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a full dozen of Basically a Geek Show.
Wait, we're doing a dozen in one show?
Sure. Yeah, it's 12. Let's just go.
Yeah, but a full dozen of Basically a Geek Show, I mean, that'll go on.
Well, this is the 12th show, so I'm welcoming our loyal listeners to the full dozen. This is the final piece of the full dozen puzzle, as it were.
Welcome to the 12th episode of Basically a Geek Show, all dozen of our listeners. Soon to probably be 6 when we're done today.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in due time. We'll get to that. We're going to start off just some quick Transformers news as it relates to Age of Extinction, Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. Peter Cullen mentioned something about his view of Optimus Prime. Quote, "He is exactly who he was from the original concept. I've always felt a hero should have the qualities that are inspiring and helpful and fatherly and at the same time be courageous. I don't see those character traits changing at all." And then in reference to his brother Larry Cullen, he says, "Though Larry's gone, he lives on in my mind as Optimus Prime because he was my hero." So, I think Peter Cullen, a legend in his own right. I think he really did sum up what a lot of people, myself included, feel when they think of what Optimus Prime should be. So,
yeah, Peter Cullen, of course, the voice of Optimus Prime, based the character off of his brother Larry, who was like his role model, his big brother, and basically, when he went in to do the audition for the show, he had really no idea what he was going to do. And as I kind of recall the story as I heard it, he was driving to the audition, and he's like, you know what? This guy's a hero. I want to base him off of my hero, my brother. And so that's what he did. And so, even though, his brother Larry has passed on, he feels that Optimus Prime embodies those values that he kind of, equated his brother with. And I think that's awesome. And I think he succeeded. I grew up in a, single parent home. For me, Optimus Prime was a father figure in a lot of ways. And he very much hit the mark. Optimus Prime is as Peter aimed him to be. And, I say God bless him for it.
Indeed. A lot of people have pointed out Optimus Prime's seemingly increasingly violent tendencies in live-action movie, but
What violence? What? What are you talking about?
But let's be real. Let's be real, people. Let's get down to brass tacks and have some real talk.
Let's have some faces.
You have a war between two races of alien robots for millions of years. Even the most noble guy's gonna cap a bitch now and then. That's just how it rolls.
Take their fucking face.
Well, maybe the Fallen shouldn't have been all Fallen-like, and yeah, so...
Totally, yeah.
No, he deserved to get his face ripped off by Optimus Prime.
I don't disagree. I mean, he wanted to blow up the fucking sun. So, I mean, if any crime, I know we don't have legislation to kind of set this precedent, but if there were a crime that would have face ripping as a penalty, it would be blowing up the fucking sun.
And, blowing up the sun was a dick move. That was a dick
It
move.
really is. Really is a fucking dick move. Terribly poor form.
Although, I will say this. I do love how Revenge of the Fallen, and, this is territory that's been tread a million times before, but, just because we're talking about it.
Devastator's balls.
No, not Devastator's balls. But, Revenge of the Fallen is fantastic in part because it just feels like a G1 cartoon episode. The villain's plot is to blow up the sun, and it pretty much ends with Megatron going, "I'll get you next time, Prime." I mean, come on. It was Revenge of the Fallen is a faithful adaptation of a Generation 1 episode.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people have said, they don't like how Prime is in the movies. They call him a sociopath and so on and so forth. While I would actually disagree. Optimus Prime does feel empathy. He does feel obligation. He feels all those things that by nature exclude him from being a sociopath. Mm-hmm. The thing is, when look at in real life, those who have gone to war and come home. And we've seen, a lot of it in the last 10 years. These soldiers, they bear their scars physically and psychologically. Well, imagine that for 1 million years. Mm-hmm. And, the fact that you can, if you're this alien sentient robot, you can have your arm, welded back on or what the hell ever. That helps, definitely. That's a bonus. But psychologically, that's where they're just as vulnerable as you or I are, mm-hmm. because they have the same thoughts, the same feelings that you or I would. And then imagine upon that the burden of command, mm-hmm. and on top of that, leading from the front. Mm-hmm. Optimus Prime, he's not a fucking desk jockey. No. He's out there, he's blowing shit up, he's removing faces as need be.
I think Prowl is actually the requisite desk jockey for the Autobot military.
I would almost say Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus, yeah, but every now and then he does feel the need to hit a bitch of a hammer. True,
and no, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say it's a great hammer, but that's just innuendo city. But, yeah, so I mean, there's going to be a few screws loose. There's going to be a few wires that aren't crossed just right, after being at war for 1 million years. And even if everything else is intact, at that point, you know what? You're just so fucking sick of it. Mm-hmm. You're sick of the bullshit. You're sick of the evil. You're sick mm-hmm. of these things, constantly trying, they took, the Decepticons took their home. They're trying to take, our home, Earth. And, the Autobots have basically said, here and no further. Mm-hmm. They've had a Captain Picard moment. Mm-hmm. And Optimus Prime has just got to the point where he's not afraid to take a bitch's face off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Indeed.
So that was a very surrealistic moment.
It was.
When he said that.
To hear Peter Cullen actually say the words, "Give me your face," the Optimus Prime voice.
Yeah. I'm sitting there, I'm like, did I just hear Optimus Prime say, "Give me your face"? What? So yeah, that's the thing we're doing now. Okay, all right, cool.
And a shout out to tfwiki.net, the Transformers Wikipedia, for wholly owning that and really making the best of it. So good. I'm always one to applaud well done internet humor. So quick shout out there.
And didn't you say there was a toy, Fallen, with face ripping action or something?
Yeah, Hasbro knew what they were doing. Hasbro knew what the score was because they released a toy of the Fallen from Revenge of the Fallen, and he actually had face ripping action where if you pressed a little button, like the face would like pop off, and you could see like his robot skeleton underneath.
Oh my god, if only I could get an action figure of my ex-wife. I mean, never mind.
So if you had an Optimus Prime toy and you bought that Fallen toy, you could enact the face ripping scene, at your own leisure.
And, that's just America at its finest. Some would say that's me being satirical. It's really not.
In this country, if you want to rip the Fallen's face off, by God, there's a way to do it.
we're not going to stop you. You have the freedom. Freedom to remove faces is the right of all sentient beings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I'm actually interested in seeing how Optimus Prime, I guess, is in Dark of the Moon. He's got a very knightly look to his redesign. One of the posters showing him holding what looks to be a sword of some kind. I think it's called the Sword of Destiny in the promo images, although I don't know why you just don't call it the Star Saber, but whatever. They're going for a very nice knight-centric theme for the Autobots in this film, so it's going to be interesting to see how Optimus Prime's traditional role of being that moral compass meshes with the whole chivalry aspect they seem to be pushing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of like it. I actually do, though. I did see the picture for, it was just up on TFW. It was a kind of a close-up picture of Optimus Prime for AOE. And I don't know, he looked a bit ninja-like in the face to me. I didn't really quite dig it.
I think that's just reason ahead. Everything for Peter Knight kind of feet that from his redesign at least. It doesn't really come across in the toys. I don't think, at least not the early toys that we've seen, but in the concept art, it really does look like kind of this plate armor look to him. But speaking of Knights and Transformers, I believe we actually forgot about this when we were putting the show together. Jack just reminded me some behind the scenes insight here. So I suppose we could say a quick word on the latest box set edition for the 2014 BotCon exclusive. They have revealed the final knight. It is Jinrai, a repaint of the classics Optimus Prime mold in red and orange colors, and he's got the knight emblem, and he is holding the wind vane portion, which is supposed to run. He's holding it as a shield, so it looks like they've successfully managed to capitalize on the knight theme with at least one of these figures.
Yeah, and this wasn't, admittedly, Mike, this wasn't what Uri had wanted optimally, no pun intended. But it's close enough to where we'll take it and consider it a victory.
Yeah.
And it's actually a figure I wouldn't mind having. I mean, you got this fucking, Autobot Knight symbol emblazoned boldly on the shield, and
it's quite nice looking too.
Yeah, it is. It is. My only gripe, the only thing that could have made it better would have been, if they'd replaced the gun with a sword or a hammer.
Well, you can't replace the gun per se, because the gun are the smokestacks in truck mode.
Add it. Add it is, fucking drill a hole for a peg, giggity, and, have you a sword, have you a hammer. Put an extra little bit of kibble. What the fuck? From
what I understand, Pete at BotCon, which is the username of Pete Sinclair at TFW 2005, and Pete at BotCon, Pete Sinclair, has announced that there will be some sort of multi-pack thing at the convention where you can buy packs of swords to outfit the knights. So that's good. So you will be able to get a melee weapon of some kind for Jinrai. Now, again, the 5 exclusives that make up this pack are not going to be the only exclusives. There are going to be exclusives at the show. There will be the bagged exclusives. I think there's always the one freebie for just showing up, and then there's 2 packs of 2 and 1 pack of 3. So there are plenty of opportunities to flesh out this knight theme, because the knights themselves have really been underrepresented in the box set. And but if there are more knights available, I guess that's fine. In terms of how I feel about Jinrai, I think it's a interesting take on a Japanese-only character. And I think I'd like this a lot more if it was just one knight in a couple other knights to be part of a crowd with. Just on his own as the lone knight representative, because, DevCon has nothing knightly about him, really, in his design.
They didn't even bother putting the fucking symbol on him.
No, they didn't.
And how hard would that have fucking been? I mean, seriously.
Indeed. But, so it's kind of like only true knight representative in this box set. He's good enough. But again, I would have liked to see him with maybe at least one other truly, knightified Autobot, but it is what it is.
Is that a word? Is that a word now?
I just made it a word.
Knightified?
I just made knightified.
But wouldn't it have been knighted?
No, because see, that's how you become a knight. You are knighted. But knightified is like when you just, knightified is the process of turning a non-knight character into a knightly character.
Right, to be knighted.
No, because see, in the fiction, they're knighted. But in terms of what you do with the fiction, it's knightified. I just did that. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, alright.
Making up. We are not afraid to trailblaze at basically a Geek Show.
Do not misunderestimate our strategy.
Moving on, let's talk about something less awesome. Transformers Animated continues to haunt us from beyond the grave that, we had all hoped it had been sent to permanently, but it just won't die. There is a Facebook page, for what looks something called Leg Avenue, which I am unaware. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Leg Avenue is, but they have a Facebook page. Oh, it's a lingerie company. Okay, so it's lingerie company.
Later.
So this lingerie company, they're, via their Facebook, they released an image of these costumes based on Transformers animated character designs for Megatron, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee. Only they're for women, and they're being marketed as lingerie.
Except it's not. It's fucking yoga pants with foam.
Yeah!
Fucking attached to it, and it looks like ass, just like everything with fucking animated looks like ass. Leave it to fucking Transformers Animated.
To ruin lingerie?
Make hot chicks look fucking retarded.
Yeah, what we've got here. Yeah, it's spandex yoga pants, and then, around on their legs, they have, it's like this boxy foam to simulate the boxy robot legs. They've got, these foam, belts on to simulate part of the robot design. They've got foam gloves on, foam plates over the chest, and they're all wearing these helmets that are supposed to emulate the head design of the Transformers animated character models.
No, they don't, because they don't come with chin apparatuses.
True. But I guess my first question is, how are these lingerie? I mean, does the word lingerie have a meaning that I am not familiar with? I essentially understand lingerie to be, at the practical level, underwear.
The thing, okay.
I don't see how this is underwear.
If a woman came to me dressed like that,
mm-hmm.
and expecting to impress me, the first thing I'd ask her would be, darling, can you transform into a refund?
Oh, God.
Because whatever you paid, it was too much, babe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It is just too much.
These are full on, these are full on costumes, are what they are.
Right.
They're costumes. And
they're shitty ones.
They're shitty costumes, but they're costumes. So if you want to sell these as costumes, go ahead. But to advertise them as lingerie, first of all, it's not really seductive all that much, because you're not seeing a lot of skin.
Well, you're not even seeing a lot of anything that's worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of these guys that says, you gotta be showing skin to be sexy. No, I'm actually not like that. But the thing is, look, I don't think we talked about it on the show, but a couple of weeks ago, Mike, you and I talked about this. They had a TF Age of Extinction, like a Halloween costume for adults, and it was a woman modeling it.
Yeah, and it was
damn sexy.
It was like a corset, I think?
Yeah, it's like a corset kind of a deal, yeah. And it was damn sexy.
It wasn't much of a costume. It just had the Optimus Prime flame pattern and had some parts to emulate smokestacks, but it was pretty much just a sexy corset for a woman.
Right. Yeah. And that was fine. That was great. I seen that, I'm like, dude, you gotta fucking see this. This is awesome. And, we looked at it like, yes. But then you got this shit. What the fuck is... It's Transformers Animated.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Everything it touches looks like ass.
And that would have been fine if everything it touched was confined to 5 years ago. But it just won't stay dead. It's dead. Stop coming back as things.
Stop coming back as things. You heard it here on Basically a Geek Show. Transformers Animated, we demand that you stop coming back as things.
I'm trying to cut through everything else. I'm just trying to look at this from a practical standpoint. I don't see how this is lingerie.
There isn't one.
I don't see how this works as underwear. What woman is gonna wear this as underwear? You've got like the giant Megatron chest piece with the giant Decepticon logo. You're gonna put a t-shirt on over that?
This is the kind of thing that like maybe I don't even see the Transformers Animated fans would really like this. Well, I mean, because it just looks like ass. I mean, even more than Animated itself did. And okay, you know, whatever. If you like Animated, fine. Please look at these fucking costumes and tell me these don't look like shit. I mean, okay, the yoga pants aspect looks cool, but that's because, well, a nice leg is a nice leg, and it really doesn't matter what you put on it. But the rest of it, tell me, is a costume. Tell me is a sexy, like, TF cosplay kind of a deal. Tell me this is in the least arousing or enticing or alluring. Because it's not.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not at all. It's not at all. But, you know, that is what it is, and we will move on, lest we be consumed by hatred.
What, we're not already?
We need to space it out for entertainment's sake.
Fair enough.
We're going to move on to a crossover.
Yes.
Now, this is interesting. Interesting. It's courtesy from a TakaraTomy ad in a issue of Denki Hobby Magazine. I hope I'm pronouncing that. I'm probably butchering it. I apologize.
Yeah, fuck it.
I apologize to Japanese speakers everywhere, but I'm doing my best. Dengeki, I think. Dengeki. That looks to be.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
it's
a hobby magazine in Japan. And what it is, there's a lot on it, but the main picture is of Optimus Prime, and he's done up in the purple and green colors of Unit 1 Evangelion, the first Evangelion mecha. Although that's probably not a proper term because the Evangelion robots are weird. I'm not going to get into that. Point being,
you're weird.
Well, they are. There's like souls of dead moms. It's interesting. Anyway, so you've got Optimus Prime, this Evangelion color scheme, and on one of his shoulders, he usually has an Autobot emblem on each shoulder. On one shoulder, it's replaced with the Nerve emblem. Nerve being the government organization in the Evangelion anime that fights off the quote-unquote angels. And the text reads as followed. Again, I'm basing this on a translation someone did, so if I'm incorrect, blame the translator. The angels are invading. Breaking a long silence, the mysterious life forms known as the angels suddenly appear. The weapons of the UN forces gather together in retaliation, and they cannot even snatch them. In the end, they turn to the secret agency Nerve to manage the anti-angel strategy. With
He said snatch.
With Neo Tokyo 3 in their sights, the angels slowly advance upon the city, but suddenly a spaceship comes hurtling down from the sky above. It's the Skylinks! Out of the ship emerges warriors from the far-off planet Cybertron. They've come to investigate. After noticing the unusual energy reading, we can't let a disaster like the second impact occur on this planet. What are these monsters? The shocked Autobot Optimus Prime sets his sights on an enemy much bigger than himself. So, it's an ad. This is an ad. You know, it's an ad. We've got Optimus Prime done up in Nerve colors, and we've got a little text here to provide something of a backstory. But we don't know what this is. We don't know if this is going to be a web series, a comic series, if they're going to do a toy line or a model kit toy line or what the hell ever. We don't know what this is. So I wanted to ask Jack your thoughts on this.
The Autobots are investigating the snatch.
And with that insightful commentary out of the
I don't know, honestly. I mean, again, like you said, it could be anything. If I had to place my bets, it would be probably comic book series, because why do the lead up if they're not going to really do anything with it?
Well, it would be a manga series in Japan.
Whatever. Okay. Fucking comic book is a comic book. I don't care what fucking country it's from. It's still a goddamn comic book. Send your email, by the way, to basicallyageekshow@gmail.com. Fucking comic book is a goddamn comic book, okay?
Okay.
Anyways, don't even get me on that fucking rant.
Okay.
So, I would say, a comic book, and, a corresponding toy line of some kind. Because, I mean, really, if they're not at least going to do that much, then really, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that Transformers does crossover work. TakaraTomy, the TakaraTomy section of Transformers does crossover work of other franchises. There have been Disney Transformers put out before. We've had crossovers with New Era baseball caps, with Nike shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone to some strange places. So doing a sort of crossover with another giant robot franchise actually wouldn't be that much of a stretch compared to some of the things they've done. But, yeah, Jack, I know you haven't seen Evangelion the series. I know.
No.
So I'll just give my brief comments on, what my thoughts were. The first thing I wanted to say is, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Because, yeah, the Transformers are big. But unless we're going to bring in mass shifting, and who knows, they might, because it's Transformers and it's always sort of been there. But
Soundwave has this shit covered.
But I'm just saying, Optimus Prime, he transforms into a semi-truck. So even in robot mode, he's pretty big, but he's still working with the mass of a semi-truck. Well, the Evangelion, the EVA units are significantly larger than your average Cybertronian. I'm trying to think of what to compare them within the Transformers universe in terms of size. Maybe not quite Metroplex large, but your average EVA unit in Evangelion would probably be about the size of maybe Omega Supreme.
Yeah. They don't strike me as like Godzilla large, but, pretty damn big.
Yeah, they are significantly bigger. So I'm not exactly sure what Optimus Prime hopes to accomplish with this, because the Angels, the alien forces that are referred to as Angels that the EVA units fight and are trying to invade and destroy Earth, they're about the size of the EVA units. So, what's Optimus Prime going to do? Is he going to transform into truck mode and ram into their ankles repeatedly?
You know what? If you're Optimus motherfucking Prime, you can accomplish whatever the fuck you want as long as Hot Rod doesn't get involved.
Yeah, that's right. This whole thing will probably end with Optimus Prime, driving off a ramp, as, Stan Bush's The Touch plays. And then he'll just, crash through the face of an angel, explode out the back of the head as it blows up.
That would be awesome. People, fucking take note. Whoever's running this fucking show over there, listen to what he just said. Make that shit happen.
And Optimus Prime is, exploding out the back of the angel's head, and it's like, you've got the touch, da, 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 and then the angel just blows up. And then Optimus Prime transforms with an explosion in the background. He's like, that was almost too easy. Run credits!
Was your moment of zen.
Run the credits. It's over. Series is done.
Yeah. Fucking game over. Totally. Wrap it up. Write it down.
So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Again, this is all just speculation because it's a single ad in a hobby magazine. If I guess, as far as I know, Evangelion never had a action figure line of any kind. I think there were model kits. I'm not 100% sure on that.
There are.
There are Evangelion model kits. So if anything, this might be that. Maybe maybe this will be TakaraTomy's foray into Transformers markets, and they'll try to see if that has any legs. Maybe this is the first step to that. But yeah, this is all speculation. We have one ad, one admittedly kick-ass picture, and that's pretty much it. I will say that if any fiction comes of this, and it provides a more satisfying conclusion to Evangelion than when we actually got, then it's all gonna be for good, because god damn it, as good as that show could have been, the ending was just, that was bullshit. Just pure bullshit. And I don't want to get into a thing, because we'll be here all night, and we want to keep this under 5 hours, so.
Use your words, Mike, use your words.
We want to keep this under 5 hours, so we will avoid talking about the ending of Evangelion.
Maintain.
But speaking of crossovers, there was a IDW panel recently at a convention, and I really wish I had the name of the convention at my fingertips, but I don't. It's not really important, because in terms of what was revealed, it was kind of just unveiling what we can look forward to with Rise of the Autobots, and we talked a lot about Dawn of the Autobots, and we talked a lot about that last week. But there is one question that was posed to the IDW creative team that Jack and I wanted to talk about, I guess. And so someone stood up and asked, are there any plans for a IDW Transformers My Little Pony comic book series? Because IDW, being a Hasbro property, you know, they have their comic books run through IDW as well. So, because goddamn it, I know, because I've got to look at those stupid My Little Pony ads every time I get to the end of a Transformers comic. But we figured that would be as good as any place to discuss the brony thing. Full disclosure, we've started the show since the brony fad has kind of died down. It flared up really bad there for a moment.
Like a fucking hemorrhoid.
It flared up bad, and it seems to have settled down to an extent, but it's still an ever-present essence on the internet. And so we felt, and in a lot of ways, you could argue it kind of fits our purview. It fits the geek purview, if only by association. So we figured that it would be our duty as the host of this show, basically a geek show, to provide our thoughts on the brony fandom and the My Little Pony fandom. I've got some things to say, but I know Jack has some things to say, and so I'm gonna let him say his things before I come in with my things. Jack.
Whoa, phrasing.
I don't even care anymore. It's My Little Pony. I don't care. Just let them all. We'll get to me. We'll get to me in due time. But Jack, when I say brony, what do you think?
I think, well, first off, if you, listener, are a brony and we're on the right forum at the right time on the right day, this is the Joker, and Mike here is the Mandarin. You're welcome.
You resisted our attempts to educate you.
Oh, gosh. Kind of an inside joke between me and him. I apologize. When I hear the word brony, I think, wow. Look, we live in a free country, so legally, you're entitled to do what the fuck ever you want, unless you're in certain southern states, in which case homosexuality is a crime in some of these states.
What is?
Homosexuality.
Oh, still?
Well, by terms, I mean, not legislatively, I don't believe, but de facto, kind of like, I guess maybe being black in L.A. I don't know.
I gotcha. Okay, so,
but, The thing is, in America and in many Western countries, homosexuality is portrayed as this horrible menace. But you've got fucking clomping or glomping or whatever the bloody hell they call it.
Yes.
Where you're basically wanking to pony prawn.
Yes.
And
yes,
seriously,
yes.
fucking a dude in the ass is horrible, but fucking wanking to a pony is fine?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the? Okay, this is a show and a franchise. Okay, now, let me put this into context. Because I want to address the possible hypocrisy here. Me and Mike are fans of a franchise for, anywhere from 5 to 14-year-old boys. Transformers, of course, in case you're just so riddled out on fucking cocaine right now, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And, we admit that. But the thing is, there's a history behind Transformers, and My Little Pony does share a history there. But this recent iteration that's created this brony craze is so far detached from that original iteration that came about when Mike and I were kids, or at least myself. And it's, there's really nothing in common there. I mean, it's like if Transformers suddenly got popular when Transformers Animated came out. Mm-hmm. It's that far of a separation.
Mm-hmm. I also want to kind of touch on the whole hypocrisy thing for a moment.
Yeah.
Again, let's get down to some real talk. Transformers, when it gets right down to it, it's essentially it's not the modern reinvention, but it is a modern interpretation of, your grandpa who used to collect old trains or old plane model kits. Okay? At the same, when push comes to shove, Transformers was a series targeted towards boys, and a good deal of those boys remained fans into their teens and into their adult lives.
Right.
Now, of course, there are crazy obsessed fans, but you find those everywhere. So whatever. Point being that an adult male, or a male in his late teens who is who's a fan of the Transformers, that's not odd, because it's a male-oriented franchise. Got them while they were young, and hooked them ever since.
Just like Michael Jackson.
Oh God! But My Little Pony. And I've heard of what a lot of bronies have had to say about the recent show, the current iteration, which I believe is called Friendship is Magic. I believe that's the subtitle that distinguishes it from other My Little Pony shows. Whatever else they want to claim about the show, the quality of writing, the quality of animation, whatever else they want to tout about it, this is a show aimed at girls. And
or the guys who want to be.
And if those girls, who become fans of My Little Pony, if they want to remain fans of My Little Pony into their late teens and into their adult lives, then again, like the Transformers with the male demographic, that's fine. I mean that's just expected, I guess. I'm trying. It's kind of delicate because when you say fine, you're trying to say, oh, you're not fine for liking a TV show. And I can't speak for Jack, but I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is that if as a male in his late teens or adulthood is preaching the awesomeness of a show aimed at girls between the ages of 5 to 11, then you need to at least be self-aware of that fact. And I'm not saying you can't watch it. I'm not suggesting we start up the television police and kick down doors to make sure the right people are watching the right cartoons. No, I'm not saying that.
Scratch Thursday's schedule off the list.
I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you need to be self-aware of this fact. You know, if I'm talking to you and you talk to me and tell me what a great show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is, look, I'm sure the writing is above anything that series, you know, has ever produced before, because I know who the creative staff behind Friendship is Magic is. I know who they are. I know who they are. I've known what other cartoons they've worked on, and they've worked on some pretty decent projects in the past. So look, I'm sure that the creative team behind this show is giving it their all, and I'm sure as far as My Little Pony goes as a concept, it's probably the best it's ever been. Whatever. But when you're trying to tell me this, and you're trying to tell me what a good show it is, look, at the end of the day, I grew up with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and Batman and Iron Man. You know, when you try to tell me this, you're trying to sell me on something that inherently I have no interest in. So, bronies, please stop.
Cram it.
Yes, cram it. I don't want to hear about the cartoon about the horses. I'm aware that the show exists. I'm aware it's probably better than it has any right to be. And you know what? That's enough for me. I don't want to hear about how I just need to give it a chance. I'm not going to give it a chance. And it's not because I hate you, or it's not because, you know...
I do.
Or it's not because I'm a misogynist. No, I don't want to...
I am.
I don't want to give it a chance, because me personally, I have no interest in watching a cartoon aimed at little girls aged 5 to 11. That's not what I want to do.
Or is it?
No. I don't know. No. So, you know what? If that's what you want to do, if you get genuine joy out of watching this show, by all means go ahead and watch it all day. I don't care. But
keep it to yourself.
Stop trying to, you know, impose it on me as if...
Stop invading.
Yes.
Everything on the goddamn internet. Stop it.
Yes.
Just fucking stop it now. We're tired of it.
A few months ago, Jack and I did an experiment. We headed out onto the worldwide internets, the series of tubes, as it were.
Experiment, that's what we're calling it?
Well, we decided to see if we could find a fandom that hadn't been appropriated by bronies. Doctor Who, Transformers, Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, superheroes of all superheroes, all pop culture franchises. I saw a My Little Pony sketch done for characters from the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is probably the show least like My Little Pony out there. It is a show about terrible people who do terrible things, and you associated it with My Little... Oh my god. For God's sake, stop invading the internet with it. Okay, I'm a Doctor Who fan, and I already expressed that I have no desire to watch My Little Pony. So
okay, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I just testing the theory and taking it to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know the movie Clerks, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a Clerks in My Little Pony, isn't there?
Yes. I just fucking Google imaged it. Fucking Dante and Randall as ponies.
Oh god. See.
My Little Clerks. I'm looking at the fucking picture fucking now.
You know what? I'm not as big of a Kevin Smith fan as a lot of other people are, but I respect the man enough to not want to see his work sullied like that. Okay? God, like I said, I'm a Doctor Who fan, okay? So, I've already explained that I don't want to watch the My Little Pony thing. It has no interest. I have no interest in it. So stop trying to send me these things. Oh, you like Doctor Who. I'm sure you'll like this animated Flash thing we made of Doctor Hooves. No, I don't want to see Doctor Hooves. I don't care. I don't care. Okay? Stop invading the things that I like. You go to a Transformers forum, and it's infested with bronies. You go to a Marvel superhero forum, it's fan forum, it's infested with bronies. You go to Star Wars fan forum, it's infested with bronies. You go to TF, I've been to TFCon a couple times, the unofficial Transformers convention held in Toronto every year. I've gone to that, and I've seen people selling My Little Pony toys. You're invading my physical Transformers fandom space now.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like, okay, you and I, okay, you're a big Doctor Who fan. I never really got into it. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Godzilla fan. You're kind of into it, but not nearly as much as I am. It's like if you and I went on all these other fucking franchise forums, these other interest forums, mm-hmm. and started spamming Doctor Who and Godzilla shit. Mm-hmm. Just give them a chance. Just watch it. Just watch it. But you and I can accept that, hey, not everyone's going to like what we like. Mm-hmm. And we don't have anything to prove to anybody. We're comfortable in the fact that we like what we like. You know, we talk about on our show because, well, it's our show. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. So what we're saying is if you're a 20-something-year-old male and you like My Little Pony and you want to fucking fap to it, wink to it, whatever, that's fine. Well, okay.
It's not fine.
It's legal. Do it in your own home. Keep it off of everything else.
Yeah, I mean, that falls into the whole fan art thing. I mean, look, it's the year 2014, people. You can use the Google machine to find porn of any fictional franchise you want.
And trust me, I have.
Yes. But, you know, and this is weird. This, I think, if it doesn't cross the line, it flirts with crossing the line. Because the whole clopping phenomenon, the idea of pleasuring yourself to pictures of horses designed to entertain little girls, it really does border too close to that you've gone too far moment. And I don't know if we've gotten there exactly, but
I think we have. I mean, and the thing is, you and I, we're not Puritans, for fuck's sake.
No. I mean, no, we are not. We're not prudes. If someone wants to look, if someone wants to look up a picture of, RC from Transformers and jack off to her, by all means, feel free to do that. Please don't tell me about it, but feel free to do that. Because at least we're dealing with a character and a concept that, the character is, of course, more or less an adult, I guess, as much as a robot can be an adult. But when you are pleasuring yourself to what amounts to cartoon horses, when you're pleasuring yourself to cartoon horses that are drawn to appeal to little girls, I hesitate to say that what anyone does in terms of sexual activity is wrong, so long as it doesn't harm anyone.
But this is as close as it gets.
This is close. This is too close for comfort. And you know what? It's bad enough that, you guys invade our space and tell us, oh, you gotta give it a chance. Please watch My Little Pony. I don't want to hear about which pony you think is the hottest. I don't care. I don't care. No. I don't care, and my life would probably be better not having that information in my life. So those are our thoughts on bronies. We're not fans, obviously, but God damn it, when it comes, because the language of this is going to come out all wrong. but keep it to yourself. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, discrimination. Tell the minorities to keep it to themselves. No. This isn't discrimination.
This is something that you make an active choice to do.
Okay. People who are bi, people who are gay, that's who they are. And,
right.
you're not you don't tell if you're a decent human being, you don't tell a fellow human being to not be themselves. But you know what? No. This isn't it. This is fandom. This is something you choose to delve into. This is something you choose to make part of your life. This isn't who you are. This is something you actively seek out. So, yeah, you know what? It's not the same. Keep it to yourselves. This isn't the same as sexual preference or anything like that. This is just straight up human decency. I don't want to hear about what cartoons you fap to, and I particularly don't care to hear if they're cartoons aimed at little girls. I just don't care. I don't like it. And maybe some people want to say that's closed-minded. If that is, I'll say you don't know me very well. And 2, I'll say, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is, but with the amount of exposure that My Little Pony's gotten, someone's got to be closed-minded, if only to balance the scales, because we've gone so far off the deep end.
If only to keep their fucking brains from falling out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. God damn it. It's almost like they're Mormon missionaries or something with this brony bollocks. I mean, okay, yeah, you like it. Cool. Keep it to your own forum. Keep it to your own shit. Talk to like-minded people who can appreciate what you're liking and so on and so forth, and that you can discuss with on a like level the way, most other fans do of whatever they're a fucking fan of. Do we have to bring it into, this forum and that forum and that forum? Do we have to bring it into this game and that game and that game?
I mean,
is any of this necessary? No, it's not. Someone actually on a forum that Mike and I scouted out for, well, honestly, trolling purposes, because we were drunk and feeling lousy and we wanted to give a little bit back. Mm-hmm. We wanted to give back a little of the misery that we have, been pretty much had to endure over the years. And someone actually said, if you refuse to masturbate to a pony, then you are discriminating because that's racist. What the actual fuck? And no, I'm not saying for an instant that this, is an example of the community at large. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. So don't even fucking go there.
But this was someone posting on a My Little Pony centric message board. This was someone in the community.
Right.
So, and again, that falls back to, police your own people. We all have to do it.
And you know what? On the TFW forums, we've never seen anyone say, well, if you don't masturbate to RC, then you're racist against fucking robots.
Yeah.
And if they did, then I would say the exact same thing. What the actual fuck are you on about?
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just goddamn retarded. Shut up.
Indeed.
We're tired of your shit. We're tired of your sniveling pony garbage. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Enjoy it. Talk about it to your brony friends. That's cool. Fucking do. It's your life. Live it. But let us live ours. Keep your shit out of ours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. And with that, goddamn bronies. I don't get it, but you know what? That's fine.
This is the start of the revolution.
No. This is the start. This is the start of the societal tip. It's all downhill from here, guys. But I guess we will segue. If not really much of a segue, but we will move on to World of Warcraft. Another one of our favorite topics.
Something to get our blood pressure down.
Before we get to Azeroth Choppers, I guess episode 2 did air. Before we get to that, there was an image released. I'm not sure which magazine this is, but it is a magazine that tracks Hollywood and whatnot. And they released a shot from the set of the Warcraft movie, which finally, it finally looks like it's happening. For the first time, we know, like, it's actually being made. Like, there are people...
There's people with cameras there and anything, yo!
Yeah, they've actually got sets, and it's being filmed.
They got sets, and they got actors, and they got all this fucking shit. Like, they're filming things that are happening, and they're going to fucking show it in theaters. Oh my god.
Yep. So, it's the centerpiece of the photo is Duncan Jones, who is the director. And he's watching two monitors.
Or the back of his head, at least.
Well, the back of his head. But he's watching two monitors, and we can kind of get a good look of what's on the monitors. And we've kind of got a slight bit of a knight to the left of Mr. Jones, of, what looks to be like an Alliance knight. And what appears to be on the monitors, it looks as if we've got two actors in a recreation of the Stormwind throne room.
A very good recreation, actually.
Yeah, I mean, again, we can't get we can't see a lot of it, but from what I can see, it looks like a very accurate recreation of one of the central locations in the game. And again, we can't probably talk too much about this, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on everything you see here. What do you think?
Well, I mean, like you said, we can't judge a movie based on this one fucking clip. For starters, thank fuck they're actually filming things that are happening and stuff and such. They got cameras and shit, yo. I mean, and the reason why Mike and I are talking like this about it, I mean, this movie's been in the works for, 8 years at least, I would say? They were talking about it not long after I started playing, and about the time you started playing, I think is when they first started mentioning this.
Yeah, it's been the better part of a decade that people have been talking about this movie being made. And there have been all sorts of rumors. Oh, it's going to be based off of Arthas's story. No, it's going to be based off of Warcraft 1. No, it's going to be based off of Warcraft 3. No, it's going to be based off of this novel they did. And now it looks like they finally have that all worked out. Blizzard made a big deal about the movie at the last BlizzCon when they announced Warlords of Draenor. That was the second big event of BlizzCon, was the movie after Warlords of Draenor. And it is nice to actually see that there is equipment on the ground. They're actually doing things. Sets have been made. Costumes have been made. They're filming it. We've got actors. So it all looks good. It looks like it's finally happening. My thoughts again. The set for the Stormwind throne room looks to be very well done.
Yeah, I mean, in as much as you can see it in that kind of hazy image there, it looks to be true to what you see in the game.
I'm going to say this. I also like it because, like I said, on the left side of this image, you can see kind of an Alliance Knight, and you can kind of make out an Alliance Knight on the left monitor. And I want to point out that I really like how they look because, again, we don't get a good shot of them, but from what we can see, it looks like the costumes have been toned down from the in-game models, which is good because World of Warcraft is kind of infamous for having really elaborate armor sets.
Yeah, and some of that just really, you couldn't do that on screen without it just looking ridiculous. Though I think, maybe I'm being biased, I would like to see the Judgment set.
The Judgment set is also subdued enough that I think it could actually work. You might have to shrink the shoulder pads a bit, but I think all in all, it's a set that can function, that actually can work in the real world. But I like that the Knights actually have a more realistic look to them, at least they appear to. If only because I think it'll help with that, I want to say, Lord of the Rings look, kind of a more gritty, realistic, fantasy take on, more realistic take on fantasy. I think it's a good melding, of styles. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for this, if only because I know the movie's actually being made, and secondly because I do like what I see. And it looks like the Alliance banner will be transported into the movie just as it exists in the game. Like, the banners that we can make out, it looks like the Alliance logo. They didn't redesign it for the movie. So,
as far as I can tell, no. I mean, it looks pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm. So, again, this will be interesting. And again, this movie will be based off of the storyline for Warcraft 1. They confirmed that. Even though they kind of botched the casting, not the casting, but the character selection, in my opinion. The two leaders of the two factions in Warcraft 1, you have King Lane, who is King of Stormwind, and you have Blackhand, War Chief of the Orcish Horde. But the movie's not going to focus on them, it's going to focus on some of their underlings. Anduin Lothar for the Kingdom of Stormwind, which is the perfect choice on that front. But then on the Orcish front, instead of going with Orgrim Doomhammer, who would have been the logical choice, they are instead focusing on Duratan, because Duratan is Thrall's father, and God forbid Thrall not play some role in the first Warcraft movie.
Yeah, and I mean also Warlords of Draenor, Duratan's playing a heavy part, for better or for worse. So I don't think they could pass up the chance for the tie-in.
Hey, you like Duratan in the movie? Here's Duratan in the game! Yeah.
Duratan in the game. Duratan in the movie. Duratan in your whatever. I don't know.
Action figures.
Duratan everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's a marketing thing. I would have still liked to see Orgrim Doomhammer, because I think Orgrim Doomhammer is more Lothar's opposite than Duratan is. But, whatever. Hopefully Blackhand's awesome fire shirt will be in the movie. If not, I'll be disappointed. I'm just saying.
Probably won't be.
I'm just saying he's got a shirt made of fire. They better find a way to make Blackhand's shirt be on fire in the movie, or else I'll be complaining on the internet about how it ruined my childhood.
Totally.
Even though I started playing World of Warcraft after my childhood was done, but okay. Okay.
Ruined my life.
Ruined my adulthood. Yeah.
Fucking went there.
Okay. Moving on from that picture, and hopefully we'll see, hopefully more pictures will come out, because, hey, you know what? If the movie's being filmed, then that means that there are sets, there are actual physical sets, there are actors walking around in costume, so hopefully more pictures, either official or leaked, will make their way onto the internet, and we'll have a better idea of what this movie looks like. But from, admittedly, the small picture I saw, I'm cautiously optimistic, so.
Yeah, me too.
Moving on to the real Warcraft news of this episode. Azeroth Choppers, episode 2, has released. We're just gonna get this right out of the way, right up front. We will be covering every episode of Azeroth Choppers, because
why not?
This is just absolutely fascinating, and I hate it. So, it makes for great content to rip on our show. So, last time on Azeroth Choppers, we ended with a good news, bad news scenario. To recap.
Tell us the drama.
To recap, Chris Metzen was surprised that the man they hired to make bikes began to make bikes.
Dear God, no.
The good news was that, both Team Horde and Team Alliance liked the skeletons of their bikes. Like the frames of their bikes. Thank God, because if they didn't, this thing probably would have ended already, but.
Yeah, those suck. End of Azeroth Choppers. Aww.
Yeah, so they liked both, but they ended saying, but we also have bad news, and they made us wait till episode 2, and,
God, man, what could it be?
Jack and I discussed, contrived drama last week about not just Azeroth Choppers, but reality TV in general. Where you just you basically fabricate drama where none exists for the sake of having a TV show. And they did that again. Because the bad news was dropped at the start of this episode, and it was that they need both bikes, both the Alliance and the Horde bikes, done in 5 weeks.
In 5 weeks. And remember, last show I said it's probably going to be some ridiculous like time crunch shit where they have to have it like in 48 hours. And no, it didn't end up being 48 hours, but to hear these blokes tell it, it may as well have been.
Neither Jack or I have any experience building motorcycles. I assume, from the way that they were talking, I assume that 5 weeks for 2 motorcycles is a crunch. But
I mean, yeah, I could see where it would be. I mean, to build one from scratch, custom made, I can kind of see where it would be.
But I mean, let's think about this. You know, real world hats on people.
Right. Exactly.
Let's think about this. You are Blizzard Entertainment. You want Paul Jr. to design some motorcycles for you. Okay, so you call him up. You say, "This is what I wanted. This is what we want," and he's going to say, "Well, this is how long it's going to take." I mean, you set these sort of time limits. You agree to the time scale when you hire the man for the job. I don't understand. I mean, in the show, in episode 2, Paul Jr. is like, "Well, I signed up for a 10-week project, and now they're telling me it has to be 5. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. I'm pretty sure if you agree to do something for someone and the understanding on both sides is that it's going to take 10 weeks to do, and then one guy's like, I need it in 5, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. I'm pretty sure you just say, go screw yourself. So, again, it's fabricated drama. It's manufactured drama because this isn't how the real world works. In the real world, Paul Jr. here's not gonna agree to something that he thinks is impossible.
In the real world, okay, here's how it works. So, you go to your mechanic to get, your transmission flushed. Yeah, it'll be done in, 3 hours. Well, the good news is I really like your price. That's a good deal. The bad news is I need it done in an hour.
Yeah, and
dun, 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 and your mechanic's gonna be like, dude, fuck off.
Your mechanic's gonna be, it's gonna be 3 hours. Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, sit down, shut the fuck up, and read goddamn People magazine like everyone else in the fucking waiting room. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell me you're going to approach, the forefront, the main guy of this custom chopper industry, what the fuck ever, and, not have an agreed upon time frame before all the shit signed for the show and all this other shit on TV for a custom made bike that's costing tens of thousands of dollars, if not, hundreds
two
of
custom
thousands.
bikes. Yeah.
I mean, we're probably talking $250,000 for these two, at least. And you're going to tell me that a time frame is not agreed upon beforehand?
Yeah.
What the fuck ever?
No, the time frame was agreed upon beforehand. It was probably what probably happened was that Paul Jr. was like, "Yeah, I could probably get both bikes done in 5 weeks," and they're probably like, "Oh, well, let's say 10, but then cut it to 5 for drama." I mean, yeah, it's manufactured drama. Once you think about it, it's not all that dramatic. So that was the show. And then they introduced the teams, like the 2 teams mechanics who'd working on the Horde and Alliance bikes, and nothing really was accomplished. They kind of ran down what everyone's specialty was, and you got basic ideas of what both bikes would look like. Nothing that we haven't seen before, kind of a knightly look for the Alliance, a spiky look for the Horde, whatever. That was the episode. And we'll be going from there. Next week, they promise even more drama, and I'm sure it will be just as realistic as this week's was. But before we close out today's show...
Well, there's actually one other thing I really want to address with this.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing that I'm thinking when I see this is, okay, this is being translated to the WoW community.
Mm-hmm.
This show where you have 2 bikes, Horde and Alliance, competing to see which one will be in-game, at least free or what the fuck ever, to everybody. So you're having this Horde Alliance competition. And the series is being translated to the WoW community. Paul Jr. is Horde biased.
Oh, God.
Wait, he called the Alliance team back first. Alliance bias.
Oh, yeah.
This whole fucking thing was rigged.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of hope we get some good QQ on the forums, just because that would just make this perfect, really.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
But what I wanted to get at was that they did a little interview. None of the guys from Paul Jr.'s shop were actually interviewed. They talked to the Team Alliance and Team Horde developers who are associated with Blizzard, who work on the game. And they talked about how Team Alliance, we mentioned this before, there are more Alliance players, but Horde players tend to be more vocal and more numerous. And so they asked one of the Alliance guys, how are you going to deal with, this perceived disadvantage? And he just said, it's going to be an uphill battle, but there are tens of things that make the Alliance unique, and, we hope that our fans come out and come out in numbers and support us. And then they talked about Team Horde and, Team Horde. There's a rallying cry for the Horde in game, and it's called For the Horde. And Horde players, whenever you get enough Horde players together in one place, they like to yell, For the Horde!
I thought it was like, Loktar Ogar.
That's another one. Loktar Ogar is victory or death, but For the Horde is another one that they do. But anyway, they have this thing, and they ask. They ask the Horde guy, what about what are you going to do to organize your fan base and not just shout for the Horde at random? The Horde guy, let me make this clear. Shouting for the Horde may appear to those who don't understand to be random or even inappropriate. It's not. The phrase represents a bond of brothers and sisters who have experienced the crucible of combat and victory together. Okay. I feel like
I needed summons. You're an Outlands. What the fuck? We told you rated was at 9, Jimmy.
Exactly. Again, I feel like I have to do this a lot this episode, but again, real time, people. Real time. Playing World of Warcraft, regardless of faction, is exactly what Jack just described. It's not the crucible of battle. It is a frustrating experience of trying to get 9 other people together at one place for a half an hour to accomplish
9 to 24
other people together in a single place to accomplish what on paper seems to be a simple task, but what is in reality a struggle of frustration and anger due to people's simple inability to follow instructions.
Oh, gotta go, guys. Mashed potatoes are ready.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Exactly. So don't give me this, you guys were forged in the crucible of combat bullshit. Okay, no, you're not. And again, real time. I enjoy playing WoW as much as the next guy. But guys, Horde players, it's a game. Okay? Stop yelling for the Horde every time more than 3 of you are in one place at the same time. I don't care. At all.
So now would be a really bad time for me to start screaming for the Alliance at the top of my lungs into the microphone. I'll take it.
Yeah, yes. Although the Alliance kind of lacks a thing, 'cause I guess you could say for the Alliance, but the Alliance really doesn't have a catchphrase like the Horde does. I guess Metza just couldn't be arsed to write one.
Well, maybe we should give them one. Maybe they need something that Optimus Prime would say. Optimus Prime kind of embodies the same ideals as the Alliance, right?
Yes.
Give me your face!
I was gonna go with all hail Alliance Uber Fjord Rin. But yeah, that's Azeroth Choppers, episode 2. More contrived, made-up drama to stretch this thing out as long as possible. I'm sure after cutting it close, both bikes will be ready just on time. Because that's just how these things work. But, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut it short for you guys this week. Kind of slow on the news front again. But, it's the summer. That'll happen. I'm sure things will pick up the closer we get to Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction's release date, the closer we get to BotCon.
And don't forget, Godzilla, less than a month.
Godzilla's less than a month, and Avengers 2 should be airing up within the next couple of months. So,
and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that'll be a thing. I'm not even mad at Guardians of the Galaxy, because I don't hate Guardians of the Galaxy. They're just sort of, there. They're
the thing they're doing.
They're in the Marvel Universe, and they do things, but... this has been episode 12, basically a Geek Show. For Jack, this is Mike, signing off.
Good night, everybody.
Please hang up and try again.